Okay, good. We can do it.
We can do that.
Okay, I can. TV8 High School Basketball Game of the Week. Tonight, the Bexley Lions at the Dublin Shamrocks. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Cox. We're here along with Mark Munch Bishop and Jim Day. We have tonight for you the first in a series of 10 games on TV8, and we're picking up where we left off at the end of the football season with a meeting between two of the arch rivals in the Central Buckeye League, the Shamrocks and the Lions. But unlike football, both teams off to a torrid start this year. Bexley is 3-0, 2-0 in the Central Buckeye League. Dublin is 3-0 and 2-0 in the Central Buckeye League. For both teams, they got off to a bit of a shaky start in the first game, but the last two games for either team have been easy victories. Jim Day now is going to have a look at tonight's matchups.
Coming into the 88-89 basketball season, the Dublin Shamrocks were optimistic, with 4 starters returning who all averaged in double figures.
Well, we knew they would be the makeup, the core that would lead us to any success we had this year, because those 4 kids played a lot of minutes last year.
This year seems to be no different than last year's season, in which the Shamrocks finished second to Bexley. This year, Dublin wants to be number 1, and they're on the right track, jumping out with a 3-0 record. But they keep things in the right perspective.
Bexley was the champ last year, and they're the champ right now until we or anybody else beats them.
On the inside, the Shamrocks are led by the scoring of senior Ron Jazernik, who so far averages 16 a game. Also inside is 6'6" senior Jeff McCutcheon, who surprises people with his guard-like play for a big man. Dublin's aggressive style is led by junior Ryan Rossler, who as a sophomore was second-team All-CBL last year. He plays hard, he's the leader in assists, and can pop the J. The Shamrocks know that their style of play will be matched in their matchup with Bexley.
It's like looking in a mirror. They like to press and run. We like to press and run. They always have good shooters. We think that we have some good shooters. So yeah, I think it's just who's going to be shooting the ball better and who defensively is going to take something away from the other people.
When you think of Bexley basketball, you think of CBL championships, and last season was no exception. But can they do it again?
I think any time that someone is a defending champ, it's very difficult to repeat, mainly because everyone's gunning for you. So we have our work cut out for us this year.
With solid players returning, the Lions have got off on the right foot with a 3-0 record, led by the 20-point-per-game scoring of senior Adam Brandt. Brandt combines quickness with true shooting ability. When Brandt isn't lighting it up, expect senior Brian Range to be doing something with the basketball. Even though he is technically speaking a forward, he leads the team in assists, along with scoring 11 a game. On the inside is senior Joel Fry, who has good leaping ability, enabling him to be a forceful shot blocker. These players love Coach Beveridge's style of play. And why wouldn't you, when the philosophy is score, baby, score?
We like to try to score as often as possible, so therefore we're going to press as much as possible and try to get the ball down the floor as fast or as quickly as possible and score off the transition game.
With 2 running teams, it's not hard to figure out what type of game this week's will be.
They're going to play man-to-man, I think, about the same way as we do, and they're going to press us. So I think you're going to see a run-and-gun ball game, pretty much.
Run and gun, and possibly some throwing down.
The Rocks and the Lions, the TV8 High School Basketball Game of the Week. We'll be back with the starting lineups right after this. High School. Paul Cox, Jim Day, Mark Munch Bishop were set to tip off the TV8 High School basketball game of the week, a 10-game season we have for you. Let's have a look at the starting lineups, first of all, for the homestanding Dublin Shamrocks.
Paul, for the Rocks, you've got number 44, Ron Jezernak at center, and he is a tough one. At forward is Greg Brown along with Jeff McCutcheon. These cats will bang the boards. And at guards, Brian Rossler and Chris Taylor. What a fine starting lineup. And the Bexley High School Lions starting lineup at center is Joel Fry. Joel needs some help from the outside shooters so he can bang against the big boys from Dublin inside. The forwards are Adam Brandt and Brian Range. And the guards are Seth Rogers and Noah Jones. Two very, very fine starting fives, PC.
Very balanced scoring for both teams. Dublin with 5 guys averaging double figures, and Bexley, I believe, with 4 people averaging double figures, led by Adam Brandt, averaging almost 21 points a game. As we told you, both come into the game with a 3-0 record. Both had rather tentative starts. Bexley against Whitehall and Dublin against Hilliard, but after that it has been wins with romps for both teams. They have won the last 2 weeks very easily. This week it's not going to be easy for either team. Now, if you're not familiar with high school basketball, we play 8-minute quarters. Total playing time of 32 minutes. You get into the bonus situation after the 4th foul and a half. Each team is allowed 4 timeouts during the course of a game. If we go into overtime, there is an additional timeout added for each overtime period. And you won't see the coaches bouncing up and down as much as you're used to seeing Gary Williams bounce up and down on the Ohio State bench because they have to stay seated.
Paul, I'll tell you something. I wish they let the coaches express themselves a little bit. I said that last year, and I'll say it again this year, because most of the gentlemen are out there to set an example for the younger players, and they're not going to get too carried away on most occasions.
Dublin will be going to the basket to your left, and they're wearing the white uniforms. That's Jezernak in there for Dublin, and Joel Fry, and Jezernak controls the tip. We're underway. Both teams like to run and gun, and right off the bat, there's a steal by Brian Range.
And headsy play there by Range once he got the basketball.
Range wearing number 4. In the corner it goes for Adam Brandt. Brandt, the top scorer for Bexley. Back outside now to the top of the key. Both teams in the man-to-man right now. Brandt bounces it off for Range to Rogers. Seth Rogers wearing number 5. Inside now for Joel Fry, and he just dribbles it once and bounces it back outside for Seth Rogers. And underneath for Range, the reverse layup is good.
Oh, what great ball movement by Bexley that time. Range going to the hoop and picking up an easy 2.
Bexley on the board first by a score of 2-0. Handling the basketball and almost falling down that time was Greg Brown, wearing 34. With it now is McCutcheon. Now the turnaround by Jezernak. He got it, but a foul on the play. It was a player control foul. And the basket will not count.
Paul, great move to the hoop that time. Unfortunately, didn't count. He moved to his right, faked, and went left, but it did not go down.
Okay, must have been a traveling violation. There's a steal now for Brown. He lays it in, and the game is tied.
Oh, I believe that's exactly what it was. They called traveling on him that time. That's why it was such a good move.
It was too good a move. Game is tied at 2, and Range either stepped on the end line or took too long. I believe he stepped on the end line.
Paul, no reason for Brian to do that down there where there was no pressure on him whatsoever, and you just got to think a little bit. I know there's a lot of adrenaline flowing. The kids are pumped up, but you still got to use your head at all times.
Both teams like to play that pressure. Now there's the bounce in for McCutcheon, and McCutcheon up and in. 4-2, Dublin on top.
Looked like a 3-2 press that time by the Rocks. They got back in a hurry.
Noah Jones, wearing 25, bounces it off for Brandt. Now Range. Seth Rogers.
Oh, look at Jezernak just banging on Joel Fry down there in the paint.
And a foul on Chris Taylor. That's going to be the first foul of the ball game. Chris Taylor, the guard, was ball hawking and got a hand on the hand of the dribbler. And so the first personal for Dublin. Brian Range will be the inbounds man at side court. Underneath now for Seth Rogers. The turnaround doesn't find the mark. It's batted out of bounds. It's going to belong to Bexley.
And Joel Fry went up against the 2 big guys for Dublin that time. He was battling McCutcheon and Jezernak, and he's going to need some help underneath there, PC. We pointed that out in the pregame.
Correction, it belongs to Dublin. Ryan Rossler, the guard, with the ball. Rossler averaging 11 points a game. Now down underneath for Jezeranek. Jezeranek spinning into the lane, fouled as he goes up for the shot. And Jezeranek will go to the line. And foul was called against Joel Fry. That'll be the first one on Joel Fry. First team foul for Bexley.
Yeah, Fry's a senior. Last year I got to see Bexley play quite a few times in addition to the W08BV game against Grandview. And this young man can dominate inside, but he's going to have to stay out of foul trouble because he has to go full tilt all the time.
Jezeranek is shooting too. He's a 67% free throw shooter. Makes the first, giving his team a 3-point lead, the largest lead of the night for either team. Jezeranek, 6'4", a senior. Makes them both. 4-point lead, Dublin. Just underway, 2 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Bexley bringing it down against that pressure. There's a steal. Greg Brown, lay it up and in.
Whoa, Greg Brown didn't have to go downtown that time. And here goes the man-to-man. They're full court pressing him right off the bat here. A 3-2 once again by the Shamrocks.
Both teams love to press. Now Range with the basketball relieves a bit of the pressure. Tries to dribble into the lane, but that is cut off. Now Raines tries the baseline, going up over two guys. No good, missed everything. And the rebound down for McCutcheon, and McCutcheon was fouled.
You know, you almost could feel that Brian Raines was going to pick up a foul that time. He battled with McCutcheon on the rebound, and he stayed with him as he attempted to bring the ball up court. And the Lions are going to call a timeout.
And they needed one at that point as Raines picked up the foul, and Dublin is on a roll. The score is 8-2 with 5 minutes and 31 seconds to go here in the first quarter. We'll be back after this. Back at Dublin High School, there's a good crowd here at Dublin tonight. There you're seeing part of it. The score is Dublin 8 and Bexley 2. Dublin, the Shamrocks, really on a roll right now. Bexley scored the first 2 points of the ball game, but it's been all Dublin since then with the full court pressure.
Paul, another interesting matchup. 5'11", Brian Range duking it out with number 50, 6'6", Jeff McCutcheon down there.
Noah Jones poked it out of bounds for Bexley, and the inbounds man's going to be Greg Brown. And he tosses it out for Ryan Rossler. Rossler, the junior guard, dribbles into the lane. Now back out for Jezeranek. McCutcheon. Watched by Range, and McCutcheon will shoot it over Range, and he got it. Nice touch, McCutcheon.
There's that height differential. Range cut off the driving lane to the basket, so McCutcheon just stand and pop the J.
And it gives away about 8 inches on Range.
Seth Rogers down for the hoop for Bexley.
So Rogers with his first 2 of the night makes it 10-4, and a blocking foul is called on Bexley. And that is Seth Rogers on the floor. So Rogers, after scoring the bucket, got down quickly on defense.
We know the Shamrocks can be explosive. They've scored 80 points in 2 games this year. Last year, their highest point total all season was 78. And PC, they say the teams gel a little bit as the season goes on. They're already gelling early in the season.
3 team fouls on Bexley. It's knocked away from Jezeranek. Brown picked it up. Now here's Chris Taylor with the basketball to Rossler. Rossler wearing number 10. 3 guys on him, just shoveled it off for Jezeranek, and it was poked out of bounds by Bexley. It belonged to Dublin. Greg Brown again to be the inbounds man. Now a substitution for Bexley. Coming in is Alex Rudolph. Gets a bit more height into the Bexley lineup. Rudolph at 6'4". Range is coming out.
No, Range is back in at 25. Noah Jones takes an exit.
So Jones comes out at 5'11", so he and Range are the same height. So a little more height in the lineup now for Bexley. As McCutcheon pops again, and he gets his own rebound and puts it up and out.
So McCutcheon at 13-3 a game, and he's got the touch already tonight.
Back to an 8-point lead for Dublin. 12-4, 4.5 minutes to go. Range driving the hoop. It spun off for him. Wouldn't go. And on the rebound, there was a foul. It's called on Alex Rudolph, who just came into the basketball game. That'll be the first one on him.
Well, Bexley with 1 shot that time as Range drove to the hole. They didn't get it. McCutcheon, not only did he score down the other end, he comes down and plays defense too, the sign of a well-rounded player and a well-coached high school player.
So that's 4 team fouls on Bexley. 1 more, Dublin will be in the bonus. For the basketball is Rossler. Rossler popped from the side, got it. There's about 15 feet away. Ryan Rossler gives Dublin a 10-point lead. It's 14-4. Now with a short jump shot right back is Seth Rogers. Both teams running and gunning. Brown lays it up and in. 16-6, the 10-point lead for Dublin.
Well, Dublin's making it look easy so far in the game. They're passing the ball around quite a bit. They're doing it crisply, and they're getting to the hoop.
Man-to-man defense for Dublin. And the official away from the ball detected a violation, and apparently a 3-second violation. So the ball goes back to Dublin. Rossler brings it down. We've got about 3.5 minutes to go. A steal. Joel Fry came up with the basketball and handed it back to Range. Range all the way, lays it in. Nice move, Brian Range.
Oh, he saw an open lane to the basket. No need to hesitate, Brian Range. Turn on all four burners out there, Brian.
Showing some of that form that made him such a fine running back for Dublin. For Bexley, rather. McCutcheon. Outside for Rossler. Rossler to the baseline and stepped on the end line. Yep, they called him for traveling. So the turnover gives the ball back to Bexley.
Ryan saw the baseline open that time, a little quick in his movement to the hoop and dragged the foot. Paul, it just seems like yesterday we were out here at this fine school for the Bexley-Dublin football game.
Absolutely, and that wasn't so very long ago. That was the game that ended the regular season on the TV8 High School football game of the week. Substitutions, 11, Danny Hinton for Bexley, and 20, Rob Mayer for Dublin. Rogers for Rudolph. Rudolph trying to get to the baseline for Range, but it was stolen away by Rossler. Now Dublin coming the other way. McCutcheon up with a jump shot. No good. Rebound, Jezeranak. Jezeranak back up with it and scores.
Oh, those Dublin players are just collapsing as soon as the ball is shot. And that's what you have to do. You have to go to the board. No need for a pass by Brian Range like that. He's pointing right now. He said it was my fault. Bexley's got to think a little bit, Paul Cox. Still early in the game.
He got way too much on that one. That one hit the wall about 8 feet off the floor.
I thought Manute Bowl was down there going for that one.
18-8 is the score. Dublin is on top over Bexley with 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. 5 turnovers on the afternoon for Bexley. Now the bouncer in the lane for Mayer. Mayer turned around and it was partially blocked, but apparently the block came on the wrist of Mayer. So Mayer will go to the line.
And Adam Brandt picks up that foul. And I don't know whether we should call Mr. Mayer Your Honor or not, Paul Cox, but he's a dangerous player off the bench. He's a senior 6'1", averaging 10 points a game.
Adam Brandt picked up the foul for Bexley, and now Dublin has enough to be in the bonus situation, although that's not the situation here because Mayer was fouled in the act of shooting and has a 2-shot foul anyway. Dublin leading by 10, their largest lead of the night. Now it's 11.
Well, according to our stats, that was the first time that Mayer's been to the line this season.
Mayer's really been an impact player off the bench. He's averaging 10 points a game. Now Rogers. Up the floor, back to it comes to Rogers. So Bexley, good ball movement. Lions know how to score. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Down to the 2-minute mark now in the first quarter.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm surprised Adam Brandt hasn't launched one yet.
Air ball for Adam Brandt. Averaging almost 21 points a game. So he's a bit nervous tonight, perhaps. Brown for 3. No good.
Downtown that time for Greg Brown.
And here comes Seth Rogers again. And a whistle on the play, and somebody apparently got Rogers from behind. Well, it may have been a pretty good foul because Rogers may have had a pretty clear route to the basket once, so somebody slowed him up.
And one thing I've noticed, the Bexley players have great acceleration to that hoop, whereas Dublin on the other side will rather take a couple passes to get him there, and we'll see who got Mr. Rogers this time. It's number 20 trailing behind him.
Rob Mayer, his first foul, and it's batted away from Noah Jones by Rossler.
Oh, I'll tell you what, some of the Dublin fans are vocal here tonight.
19-8, 11-point lead. Now Jones gets the inbounds pass, rather Rogers, and the rebound Fry, and he puts it up and in. Joel Fry, good work underneath.
Just like a good receiver in football. Kept his eyes on the ball and went right back to the hoop with it, although you don't go to the hoop in football.
Minute and a half to go in the first quarter. 19-10 the score. 9-point lead for Dublin. Jezeranak back outside for McCutcheon. Bounces in it for Jezeranak, and Jezeranak was fouled by Seth Rogers.
Paul, that was so interesting because McCutcheon set Jezernak up farther over in the paint. He didn't have a move, so they just slid him down into the low post that time and worked the same play.
And nifty passing, the foul by Rogers. He didn't like the call, but really that's the only thing he could do because Jezernak had him beaten to the basket.
McCutcheon, not bad, a 6'6" assist man out there for the Shamrocks.
Now Brian Raines comes back in, and coming out will be Seth Rogers with his second personal foul. Minute 22 to go, first quarter. At the line, Jezernak. Got the first one, back out to a 10-point lead for Dublin.
Ron shooting 66.6 from the line so far this season.
Both. It's a 21-10 lead now for Dublin. Good first quarter for the Shamrocks. Raines tried to hit Fry with a pass. Well, he was trying not to telegraph that one much, but he was looking the other way and missed his man entirely.
I don't even think he saw the Lion down court that time. He knew he was somewhere in the area, but that wasn't good enough.
So the second bad pass by Raines here in this quarter. Moving down toward the 1-minute mark. As the ball gets away from everybody and is knocked out of bounds, it's still going to be Dublin basketball. It was touched last by one of the Bexley Lions.
Good defense that time by the Lions. You got to keep your hands up. You got to keep your arms out, especially when the ball's being passed.
McCutcheon, the inbounds man, shovels it in for Brown.
Oh, he's hitting on him like a cheap suit.
And he had a little trouble handling the ball, but the whistle is well away from the basketball. A 3-second violation on Dublin. So the turnover hands it back to Bexley with less than a minute to go in the first quarter.
And there's a good look at Coach Pat Beveridge, and I'm sure he's going to want to whip up a special drink at halftime or even between the periods here to get his Lions fired up.
Chris Taylor back in now for Dublin. Ryan Rossler goes back out. Taylor wearing number 14. There's a steal by Mayer. And Mayer lost it again to Fry. So Bexley with the ball again. Range. Jones. Hinton. Brandt into the lane. Double team back outside. Now Fry looking for room to go, and knocking into him was Greg Brown. It's going to be a foul on Brown. Brown lost his footing. Really didn't mean to cannonade into Joel Fry as he did, but he'll be called in the foul nonetheless. That'll be the first one on Greg Brown. Third team foul. So not enough fouls yet to get Bexley to the line in the 1-on-1 situation. Inbounds pass to Brandt. Gives it right back to Raines, now out between the circles. Looking for some movement underneath. Bexley. Baseline is just not there for Adam Brandt, so he has to kick it back outside for Noah Jones.
Oh, they don't seem to move as well with Rogers out of there.
Driving Jones, no good. Rebound Fryer. Turnaround jumper, got it.
Oh, Joel sizzled that time.
Nice job by Joel Fry. 4 seconds to go now. Taylor racing down. Backs it up and in. At the buzzer. Chris Taylor makes the score 23-12 Dublin, and that's the way we'll end up the first quarter.
Well, what Coach Dobbs said that Taylor does the little things you need to do to win, and he took advantage of it that time. Reminiscent of some great college scenes I've seen. Danny Ainge driving the length of the floor. Years earlier, Austin Carr doing the same thing, and now you've got Chris Taylor doing it for Dublin.
Timeout between the first and second quarters from Dublin High School. It's Dublin 23, Bexley 12. Back after this. As we begin the second quarter, it is Dublin 23 and Bexley 12. Back in action now. Bexley with the basketball. And Noah Jones dribbling right to the free throw line. Puts up a short jump shot. No good. And the rebound down for Rob Meyer.
And Seth Rogers is still on the bench with
three-pointer.
2 personal.
And it's poked out of bounds on the rebound off of Joel Fry. And out of bounds, it'll still belong to Dublin.
Fry's working awful hard underneath there, and we keep pointing it out. We pointed it out at the beginning. He's going to need some help on the boards. I know they're playing man-to-man. Once that ball is launched, they've got to go to the basket. They've got to go to the glass, clean it off.
Seth Rogers coming back into the ball game for Bexley. Now he's one of the leading scorers for the Lions in the first quarter with 4 points. Also, Brian Range had 4, and Joel Fry had 4. The turnaround jump shot now is no good. That was Zoe Barney wearing number 42. He's in there. And also in there for Dublin is Satish Ganella wearing number 30.
We knew Coach Dopp would substitute, and he hasn't wasted any time here.
Now, all of the Dublin players have played in all 3 games so far this year. Deep bench. Seth Rogers up with a jumper, no good. And 3 white shirts around that rebound, and coming down with it was Ryan Rossler. And Rossler is fouled by Range.
Well, it almost seems as if the Bexley Lions are unnerved right now, not only at the passing ability of Dublin, but just at their ability and the easiness in which they're pushing the ball up court.
At the line is going to be Ryan Rossler. Scored a couple of points in the first quarter, Ryan Rossler. And he gives Dublin its largest lead of the night. It's 24-12.
So Barney's a good-sized lad, 6'4", only a junior, son of a great Epi Barney, ex-Clevelander, played for the Browns, and I believe Iowa State University, a Cyclone.
Rossler shot number 2, no good. Rebound being fought for, and Mayer comes away with it, and it goes off his hands and out of bounds. Other leading scorers in that first quarter, 8 points for McCutcheon, 6 points for Jezeranak, and 4 points for Greg Brown for Dublin. Bexley basketball, a minute gone here in the second quarter. Jones. Ganella hawking him. Jones, a nice pass in the lane. Grant couldn't hit the turnaround, though, on the rebound. Down for McCutcheon, who gave the outlet pass to Rossler. Back to McCutcheon. Bounces it in for Barney, and Barney moved the pivot foot. Traveling is the call. Turnover to Bexley.
Well, there you saw Zoe Barney remove his mouthpiece, and we noticed in pregame warm-ups that all the Dublin Shamrocks are wearing mouthpieces. Look at Zoe there. Oh, yep. There it was.
Little stutter step there, trying to, just before the drive to the basket. Danny Hinton now across court for Brandt. Almost threw it away, and Ganella hawking Noah Jones a bit too hard, and the call is going to go against Satish Ganella.
That'll be his first on the evening. Ganella, a 6'1" junior. A lot of juniors getting a lot of playing time for these Rocks.
So one more foul, and Bexley will be in the 1-and-1 situation. 3-point shot, Grant, no good. Rather for Danny Hinton. And the ball out of bounds to Dublin.
Danny Hinton 1 for 1 on 3-pointers so far this season. That'll cut them down to 1 to 2. I can even figure that one out. I don't need Albert E. Einstein around, or is it? Was E his middle initial?
You know, I don't know.
I just made that up. So
I've never heard that. Never heard that he had a middle initial. Maybe he didn't.
We'll just call him AE for short.
That's close enough. How about E equals MC squared? 6:21 to go in the second quarter. 3-point range now. Mayer missed everything. And Barney tried for the rebound. Nice effort by Barney, but couldn't save it for Dublin. 24-12 the score. Dublin on top. McCutcheon out. Jezeranak back in.
Still full court pressure by the Shamrocks. They're relentless with that D.
Both teams in excellent condition. Now from 3-point range, no good. Adam Brandt. And the rebound by Jezeranak. Little trouble with the pass. Now they're going to pull it back out and reload. Now tipped away, but recovered by Greg Brown.
Oh, just a great job.
Dribbles it into the corner. And bounces it back outside for Rossler. Three-pointer for Brown. Got it.
Downtown Greg Brown.
You know, he is hitting 62% from out there.
Oh.
You just saw why.
Give him the green light.
27-12, a 15-point lead for Dublin. 5:15 to go in the first half. Now the jumper by Rogers. He got it. That's a 2-pointer. Back to within 13 now. The Lions. A little bit of pressure in the full court, but Rossler breaks that easily. Gives it off toward the far side.
And Greg Brown.
Bouncing it in for Jezeranak, and he is tied up and called for traveling.
Oh, it was interesting because Greg Brown, who just buried that last three-pointer, was standing all by himself. His man left him and collapsed in. You're going to get a look at a nice, strong move to the hoop. Except once you come down, guys, you got to keep moving. A lot of pressure there. 3 Lions collapsing on Jezeranak, doing a good job of playing defense.
And fine camera work also underneath the basket as Brian Raines brings her down for Bexley. Raines way out high. Rogers, and Rogers, a little stutter step before he started the dribble, so the turnover gives the ball back to Dublin. 4:42 to go, first half. And the Shamrocks a little bit cold here in the second quarter. They scored 23 points in the first quarter. Now there's a jumper by Rossler, spins off, no good. And rebound Seth Rogers. So the door begins to open a crack for Bexley. Now Brandt for Raines. Raines lost it. Just plain lost it. He's picked up by McCutcheon. McCutcheon down, pulls up for the short jumper, no good. Rebound Raines. And on the rebound, a foul call. And it was against Dublin.
Now look at this action down here. Here comes Jeff McCutcheon. He's going to go right to the hoop. Going to fall a little short. Yeah, and Raines didn't get banged up that time by number 20.
Rob Mayer.
Rob Mayer, your honor.
Committed the foul. It's going to send Brian Raines to the line because both teams are now in the bonus. That was the second one. Second personal foul on Mayer. 4:22 to go. Here in the first half at Dublin. Dublin took a commanding lead in that first quarter, and Bexley now trying to chip away at it as Raines makes the first.
Paul Raines only a 27% free throw shooter, so I'm sure Coach Beveridge is holding his breath over there on the sideline, but he cans them both. Very important baskets for the Lions.
More like a 72% free throw shooter on those two. 27-16. 3-point bomb by Brown, and he was hacked.
Coach Beveridge having a few words with the men in the stripes. Then he calls over number 5, Seth Rogers, to give him some instructions. Oh, Raines just slapped him on top of his hand. I heard about slap at 5, but not during the game.
Now it's going to be number 3 on Brian Raines, so he may very well have to sit out the remainder of the first half.
Paul Bryan's been a little out of control. Reminds me of a young David Rivers, how he used to play at Notre Dame. Now they calmed him down, and he turned into one heck of a ball player, as attributed to his draft by the LA Lakers. But Bryan needs to have a seat right now and just keep cool.
So Noah Jones comes back in now for Brian Raines, and going to the line will be Greg Brown. For the 2-point, the 2 free throw situation. Got the first one. Greg Brown on the year averaging 13.6 a game. Made both of them. He's a 50% free throw shooter.
Oh, the Rocks keeping that pressure up. You wouldn't believe they were up by 13 points here.
Scrapping for the inbounds pass. Ball went out of bounds. It'll still belong to Bexley. 13-point lead for Dublin. Shamrocks have led by as much as 15. Now Brandt coming down as you hear the air ball chant every time he touches the ball. Down to the 4-minute mark. Fry.
Great defense by the Shamrocks. They're all over the Bexley Lions.
Noah Jones out between the circles. Tried to work it in for Alex Rudolph, and Rudolph was fouled from behind. And that'll send Rudolph to the line. And the foul against Jeff McCutcheon.
And there's Rudolph. Good pass there into the paint. McCutcheon got him on the right arm with his right arm. Rudolph's a junior, 6'4", 9.3 points a game, and 63% shooter from the free throw stripe.
Also off the bench, he is Bexley's leading rebounder. And he makes the first. So he gets the second. Again, closing the Dublin lead to 12. Missed the second. Ball loose, though. It's going to be picked up by Bexley. The reverse layup is no good.
Oh, Noah Jones had a chance to cut it to 10.
Sure did. Right down Rossler, coast to coast, lays it in. 31-17, 14-point lead, and it's picked off by McCutcheon.
And Mayer made that play happen, getting his hands out on D.
Greg Brown, three-point range. It falls through. What a touch. Greg Brown makes it 34-17. And again, a steal by McCutcheon. Actually, the ball was thrown right into his hands. Just a bad pass by Bexley.
McCutcheon got knocked down that time, too. Dublin's out rebounding Bexley at this point in the game, 10-5.
Rossler, beautiful feed. Jezeranak lays it in.
Oh, my. Can this Dublin team pass the ball around, whether it's the big guys, McCutcheon, Jezeranak, Rossler, Taylor, Brown, and Mayer? They can do it all out there.
Pat Bearbridge needed a timeout. He took one. It's 36-17 with 2:57 to go in the first half. We'll be back after this. There's your score, 36-17. Dublin up by 19 over Bexley. Greg Brown, leading scorer so far for Dublin. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 of 2 from the two-point range, and 2 of 3 from three-point range for Greg Brown. 12 points, he's hot.
Not 100%, but is about as perfect as you can get in this game.
That's about as good a half as you could hope to have. Bexley basketball with just under 3 minutes to play in the first half. Bexley just having taken its second time out of the basketball game. Now it's poked away again by McCutcheon. McCutcheon almost had another steal. Now Brandt from three-point range. It's no good. And the rebound by Seth Rogers. Rogers going back, lays it up and in. Good work by Seth Rogers.
Seth's only 5'8", but it shows that positioning means a lot, and will and determination. Seth Rogers showed it right there for the Lions. Turnover, palming the basketball called against Ryan Rossler, so Bexley will get it back. 2:29 left in the second quarter. And you're going to see Seth Rogers doing what makes him such a great player there. Oh, just a little bit of move, shaking and baking, going right to the hole. Good job by Seth Rogers.
Inbounds to Noah Jones, and Noah Jones brings it over the timeline and lays it off for Alex Rudolph.
McCutcheon was in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood that time.
Now for Rogers, up with a short jump shot, no good. Missed it from 13, and the rebound is poked out of bounds. Who's it going to belong to?
The Lions are going to get this one, yeah. Ryan Rossler just rolled off the tips of his fingers. You got to grab that one, Ryan.
36-19. As you hear Rogers slap the basketball out now for Fry, and Fry up with a short one. He makes it. Now Rossler all the way. Rossler backed it up a bit too hard. Rebound, Joel Fry. So now Bexley can cut the lead back to 14 points on this possession.
Chris Taylor getting ready to check back in for the Rocks. Bexley needs to keep their style of play, though. Don't need to get tentative here. They got to keep going to the hoop.
The jumper by Noah Jones, no good, and a foul underneath on the rebound.
I think Rudolph got him from over the top.
Jezeranak came down with the basketball, and he'll go to the line.
You know, it makes you think a little bit, and I'm sure that's what's going through Coach Beveridge's mind. They were down by 15 on that possession. Do they stay a little tentative? Do they move the ball around, or do they just keep playing Bexley basketball? Because they've got great shooters, PC. You know they're going to drop. They're going to drop sooner or later. Hopefully, in their case, it's going to be sooner.
You're going to get Brandt hot. You're going to get Range hot. You're going to get Rogers hot. So you just have to be patient, try to stay in the basketball game. 1-and-1 for Jezeranak. Misses it. And Seth Rogers up with a rebound. Now Rogers for Jones, up with a short one, no good. Ball loose, still in the lane. Now Fry picks it up. Fry up and good. And fouled.
We mentioned earlier Joel Fry could dominate a game, and he did it that time. He scored on his way down. He came back and got the rebound. Now he takes over on the offensive boards. Stays up. Great hang time. And there you see McCutcheon walking away saying, golly, I got him.
And he did. That's the second foul on McCutcheon. And will put Fry at the line for the three-point play. Can cut the lead to 12.
Barney's going to check back in. Number 44, Jezeranak. Oh, they got the big guys in there now. Now McCutcheon's going to come out. Number 50 is Jezeranak, and Zoe Barney get their position down there on the paint. There's a good look at Joel Fry.
Going to preserve McCutcheon for the second half because he's got those two personal fouls. There's Fry at the line and misses the opportunity for the three-point play, so the lead remains at 13 for Dublin.
Joel was only a 38% free throw shooter when he went to the line.
Jezeranak will stop and pop, and he's got it. From about 14, Jezeranak. 38-23, a 15-point lead. Fry. Now Rogers makes it. Oh, it's a three-pointer for Seth Rogers. Looked like he may have had a foot on the line, Munch, but they gave him three. Under a minute to play at 38-26.
Well, the guy in the stripes is right there, and he signaled three.
50 seconds to play. Dublin working the ball around between the circles, running some time off the clock. They're almost looking, Munch, like they're playing for the last shot.
Yes, they are. It seems that way.
There's Mayer, bounces along the baseline for Jezeranak. Jezeranak blocked.
Oh, Alex Rudolph.
Barney picked it up.
Oh.
Joe Barney.
A little bit of around the world that time. Joe Barney had the good spin on that one. 40-26, 25 seconds left in the quarter.
So Bexley now working it down patiently. Lions have stayed patient in the ball game. Now Rogers, and he hits again. That's a two-pointer for Seth. Averaging a little over 11 points a game. Seth Rogers, a 5'8" senior.
Well, Fry's starting to take charge a little inside. Seth Rogers coming alive. The next person to do it's got to be Adam Brandt.
Rogers is a deadly shooter, shooting 63% from the field. 6 seconds to go, first half. 12-point lead, Dublin. Dublin basketball. Jezeranak from three-point range, partially blocked, and time runs out in the first half. Well, that first half was just about everything we expected it to be. Up and down, run and gun, a lot of pressure. But we did not expect to see Dublin with a 12-point lead at halftime, 40-28. We'll be back after this.
Check.
Pocket Coach is the handheld portable computer that keeps the stats that can make the difference. Pocket Coach keeps 17 critical stats that can all be retrieved during the length of a timeout, and it's easier to use than any other method available. With Pocket Coach, you can increase your accuracy and make the decisions that win games. For details, call 1-800-444-7215 or call TV8.
Back we are at Dublin where the halftime score is Dublin 40 and Bexley 28. We want to bring in Jim Day now for a look at the halftime statistics.
Paul, let's look at those halftime stats. The first half in which Dublin really owned Bexley in the first half. Field goals, Bexley was 11 for 24 for 46%, and on the other side, Dublin 13 for 22 for 59%, and I think that really tells the tale. 1 for 4 from three-point range was Bexley, and 2 for 4 was Dublin. So teams not really lighting it up from three-point range, sort of more conservative style stuff going on. Let's move on. For the Bexley Lions, excuse me.
You know, Jim, something to toss in there about the three-point stats is Adam Brandt was not on whatsoever, and that can attribute to the poor shooting by Bexley from the three-point range.
Right, Bexley had a tough time. The leading scorer for Bexley in the first half was Seth Rogers with 13 points. He was 5 of 9 from two-point range. He also made a three-point goal. And also among the leaders for Bexley was Joel Fry with 8 points. He was 4 for 4 from field goal range. We'll be back in just a moment with the start of the second half. Paul Cox and Mark Munch Bishop back at Dublin now. We're set to start the second half. Dublin with a 40-28 lead. Bexley just needs to try to chip away at that lead. We were talking during the break, Munch, about how Bexley, if it could perhaps cut the Dublin lead to 6 points for the end of this third quarter, it'll be very much a basketball game.
Well, PC, the second quarter scoring, if you break that down, was only 17-16 in Dublin's favor.
So Bexley by no means out of it yet. The inbounds man will be Jeff McCutcheon, watched by Range, who's back in with 3 personal fouls, so Brian Range has to be careful. McCutcheon from the side of the lane, a little bit short, no good, batted out of bounds, and the ball belongs to Bexley.
Jeff missed his shot. I think he got a little angry that time and went to crash the boards. But look at the Shamrocks. Here you got 7:53, only 7 seconds gone in the third quarter, and they're already putting on that pressure.
Turnovers favored Dublin in the first half. So Bexley, the Lions, will try to take a little bit better care of the basketball in the second half. Adam Brandt also, as the ball will try to get hot. There's Rogers, no good. Rebound batted out of bounds off the hands of Fry, and it'll be Dublin basketball. Score has not changed here in the second half. 40-28 it still is. There's Rossler with a shot. Rebound, Jezeranak. Jezeranak up and in.
Well, I'll tell you what, it might not have been pretty, but you got the results that you need to put the ball, to get it to drop through the hole.
12 points for Jezeranak. He had 10 in the first half. Back up to a 14-point lead, and the ball is going to belong to, it'll be Bexley's ball. Well, from our vantage point, it looks like it went off the hands of Range, but the officials didn't see it that way. So Range will be the inbounds man. And he passes it in for Brandt to Fry. Fry triple team, going to go up with it anyway off the front of the rim. Rebound Jezeranak. Long for Brown. 3-point try. Got it. Oh, net. Greg Brown. That's his third.
Davey, I'll tell you what, he is rocking and rolling out there downtown. Greg Brown.
And that matches the largest lead of the night for Dublin. Substitution now.
Rob Mayer picked up that personal foul. It will be his third.
Correct.
And there you see Greg Brown. He just squares off, extends, bingo.
Nice touch for Greg Brown. There was no substitution. Mayer picks up his third personal foul. So Mayer with 3 for Dublin, and Range with 3 for Bexley. 17-point lead, 45-28 for the Shamrocks. Range tried to work it underneath. It's taken away by Rossler, or by Mayer rather. And here comes the Shamrocks. Up with it is McCutcheon. That's no good. The rebound fetched up by Rossler, and a foul underneath. Looks like they got Jezeranak.
And if that is a foul on Mr. Ron Jezeranak, that'll be only his first, and he's playing real tough basketball. There they mark 1 down on him. And Brian Range and the Lions have to come up court, cut that 17-point lead, 45-28 to Shamrocks.
So 2 team fouls so far in the second half for Dublin. None yet for Bexley. Now Range from 3-point range off the front of the rim. Rebound Fry, lays it up a little bit too soft, and out of bounds it goes. It'll still belong to Bexley.
I do believe Joel Fry, just like the blind owl raiding the Robin's Nest that time, thought it was too delightful and didn't have enough on that one.
Oh, we could see him shaking his head as he came away. There's a 2-point shot by Noah Jones. No good. Rebound Dublin. So the Shamrocks keep opening the door just a crack for Bexley, but Bexley has not kicked that door in any further. Jezeranak. And a traveling call on Greg Brown as Jezeranak just bounced it back for Brown.
A little bit of risky D that time by Adam Brandt. He gave Greg Brown a couple steps, and the way he's been playing tonight, Greg Brown's going to knock him down on those.
Danny Hinton checks in, number 11 for Bexley, and checking out is number 25, Noah Jones.
Noah Jones didn't seem to give much movement out there, and let's see if Hinton can get things moving and grooving a little bit more for the Lions.
Range bouncing it off for Rogers to Brandt, and goes off with the hands of Brandt and out of bounds.
Coach Dopp on the sidelines, and he's got to like what he's seen so far tonight.
Conversely, I doubt if Coach Pat Beveridge for Bexley has liked much of what he's seen as Fry follows Rossler, trying to go for the layup.
I'll tell you something, that time Ryan Rossler sees this open lane. Now look at Joel Fry, though. He's got a legitimate shot at blocking that basketball high on the glass, but he got Rossler's hand as he went to release the ball.
Alex Rudolph. You see number 23 coming into the game for Bexley, and Brian Range is going to come out. So a little bit taller lineup in there now for the Lions, as Range at 5'11" comes out and Rudolph at 6'4" is in. Joel Fry also at 6'4" into the basket for Bexley, as Rossler misses the first of his two-shot foul.
Ryan, 100% free throw shooter going into this game. 1 for 1, we'll mark him at 2 for 3, put him at 66.
Makes the second one, 5 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Down quickly Rogers. Rogers laying it off underneath. Now reverse layup is no good. Fighting for that rebound. Jezeranak comes away with it. Adding it around, finally comes down with it out for Rossler. To Mayer. Now in for McCutcheon. McCutcheon the turnaround, and he got it.
Oh, McCutcheon just took Rudolph to the cleaners that time.
That is a 20-point lead now for Dublin. Largest of the night for the Shamrocks. 3 minutes gone here in the third quarter. Nice feed underneath for Alex Rudolph, but Rudolph couldn't make it go. And Mayer down with it for Dublin.
The question we still need to ask on offense for the Lions is, when's Adam Brandt going to come alive?
Brown a two-point attempt, no good. Rebound up and in by McCutcheon. So good board work by Jeff McCutcheon, boxing out and getting a rebound.
You got to stay with that ball till it drops through, or the other team starts breaking down the court with it, and that's what McCutcheon did that time.
Rogers with the basketball for Bexley. 50-28, a 22-point lead now for the Shamrocks. Lays it up and in, Adam Brandt.
That was sweet. Adam Brandt hasn't been hitting from long range, so he'll take him to the hole. A little bit of shaking and baking. Oh, Fry, great defense that time by the Big J.
And came down with it. Outlet pass to Brandt now. Brandt up with a two-pointer, no good. Rebound Shamrocks. Rossler comes away with it. Rossler, the guard, now kicks it back outside for McCutcheon, who tried to bounce it in for Jezeranak, but it was kicked by one of the Lion defenders, so the ball will still belong to Dublin.
50-30, Shamrocks with a 20-point lead. And we saw in football they have rocks on the side of their helmets, and they're looking like that in basketball too, Paul. These kids are tough.
Believe it or not, Bexley led at one point of the ball game by 2 points. That was very early on. Shot by Brown, no good. Tipped up by McCutcheon, no good. McCutcheon got it again and traveled with it the second time. And so the ball goes back to Bexley.
Had a pack of guys in there for both teams going after that basketball, playing a little patty cake with it. McCutcheon took that extra step.
Well, Dublin's got to be very happy with the effort on both ends of the floor tonight. Rogers dribbling against Rossler, screeches to a stop, puts up the jump shot, no good. Rebound McCutcheon, he was fouled from behind. Neither team with enough team fouls to be in the bonus situation. On the foul is Alex Rudolph, and that's going to be number 3 on Alex Rudolph. And Rudolph's going to have to come out. Noah Jones comes back in, so Jones at 5'11" has to sub for Rudolph, who is a 6'4". Adam Brandt tonight, I thought, Muntz, that was his first basket just about a minute ago, and it was. He only has 2 points tonight for Bexley, and is averaging almost 21. 50-30 the score. You see Jason Thomas in the lineup for the first time for Dublin. He's wearing number 22.
Joe Barney went over the back of Joel Fry that time.
And Barney picks up his first personal.
Well, shucks, Paul, Coach Dopp's got a 20-point lead, 3:25 left in the third quarter. He could feel free to substitute for a Tad now.
As we mentioned earlier, all Dublin players have played in all Dublin games this year, and another thing is that all the Dublin players have scored at least 1 point. Bexley basketball with 3 minutes and 14 seconds to go. Brandt up and just raised the rim with that one, so Brandt has just not found the range at all tonight.
Coach Pat Beveridge just put his hands out asking Adam why, and, as if to say, Adam, you're not hitting, don't be taking those shots, especially when we're down by 20.
There's Pat Beveridge, and he is a very unhappy-looking gentleman right now. Dublin now can just take some time to play with the basketball. Munch, they try to run a little bit of time off the clock. Well, they played a little bit too much that time, and Brandt picks up the loose ball.
And that's not how you do it.
And he shovels it off. Oh, a little bit too hard on the layup attempt by Noah Jones, and Dublin back down with it. Rossler stop and pop, no good, and a blocking foul is the call against Seth Rogers.
It'll be Rogers' third, and Paul, when it rains, it pours. The Bexley Lions getting some open shots underneath there, and they just aren't falling for them today.
And Seth is saying, what was that? And that's going to be number 3 on Seth Rogers. So 3 of the Lions now in foul trouble. Seth Rogers, Brian Range is coming back in. Also Alex Rudolph with 3 fouls for the Lions.
You got Fry with 1 and Brandt with 1.
At the line, Rustler, a 73% free throw shooter, shooting 2. That's a 21-point lead now for Dublin. Another free throw here can match Dublin's largest lead of 22. And he does, 52-30. Bexley, which has scored points in bunches this year, has just not been able to score very effectively tonight. 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tipped away, but saved by Brandt. Cross court now. Rogers, plenty of time for the jump shot. A little bit too hard. Loose ball. Big scramble for it, and coming away is Mayer.
Oh, did Jezernak hit the deck that time?
And it's batted off the hands of Mayer and out of bounds. Good defense by Seth Rogers.
Something else that I'm noticing, the Bexley Lions, they're a little tentative in their shot selection. Or somebody's going to get hot for them. They're going to look at the good steal that time. Oh, a good almost steal. Their steal that time by Seth.
Jezernak pitches it back for Jason Thomas. Now Rosler in for Jezernak along the baseline, spinning against Range, no good. Rebound Range, fouled from behind by Jezernak.
That'll be Big Ron second. Next time Bexley has the ball, the viewers need to watch. They're passing around the perimeter. When you're down by 22 points, you got to move towards the hoop. You got to make your passes into the basket, not around the outside. That's how Dublin should be passing. The last time they had it, they passed that ball into the paint and it got stolen.
In fairness to Bexley, they've been very effective from outside this year, but not tonight. You can bet that this is the best defense that Bexley has played all year. Now coming back into the ball game is Jeff McCutcheon. McCutcheon has 2 fouls, so no problem there, and Jezernak comes out. Only one Dublin Shamrock with 3 fouls, and that is Ron Meyer. Tipped away now by Jason Thomas, and out of bounds. It's still going to belong to Bexley.
And it's also because you mentioned Mayer has 3 fouls, and he plays with that kind of intensity also. Not saying he's out there to foul, but he's going to pick up a few more than the average Joe out there on the court because he's so intense.
Just under 2 minutes to play as Range brings it up now, tries to find a pick, loses the basketball. And McCutcheon comes up with it again. Now it's batted away from McCutcheon, and it goes out of bounds. Who does it belong to? It's going to be Bexley ball.
I think McCutcheon fouled Adam Brandt that time. Let's see what the call is.
No foul.
No, they're just going to give it to the Lions out of bounds.
Just dead ball, that's all.
Let's get a look at this one. There's Adam Brandt getting the quick hands out. Oh, yeah, McCutcheon didn't get a hand on the ball, and it's the Lions ball. Back to the action.
Good action. Noah Jones with the basketball for Bexley. Minute and a half to go, 22-point lead, a traveling call against Noah Jones. So the ball goes back to the Shamrocks.
You know, early in the season, both teams 2-0 in league play. Good contingent of fans here from the east side that drove out to see the Lions in action, and Dublin's asserted themselves early, and they have not lost the lead.
Minute 25 to go. Bexley, 15 turnovers on the evening. Now from the side, McCutcheon, and McCutcheon makes good from about 13 feet away. McCutcheon averaging 13.3 a game, and a blocking foul is the call. Well, it's going to be against, I believe, Rosler.
That's Rosler's first on the evening.
But that was the team's 5th foul of the half, so that's enough to send Bexley to the line now.
PC, I'm going to put you on the point here. You mentioned that Bexley needed to get the lead down to 6 points. It's at 24. This means some pretty rough sledding for them in the fourth quarter.
Oh, going to be very rough sledding. In fact, the wheels may have already come off, but you know they're going to be in there scrapping. At the line was Seth Rogers, and he made good on the free throw. Chris Taylor comes into the lineup now. Mayer checks out. McCutcheon has 14 points in the evening, by the way, for Dublin.
That was a good shot at the 5'8" senior, Seth Rogers.
Makes them both. 54-32.
They're trying to trap the basketball and force a turnover. That's exactly what Bexley did.
And finally a whistle in the play. It looks like they got McCutcheon for reaching in.
It'll be Jeff's third on the evening, and both teams starting to rack up a few fouls on the night. Good job that time of Bexley Claxton on the ball, and we had just pointed out in the last break, it's do or die time. It's now or never, and I think the wheels may be spinning a little, PC, but they're still on the Bexley machine.
Well, also, if you're Dublin at this point, you don't want to commit the backcourt fouls like that and give them time to put points on the board with the clock stopped. And that's something they may very well talk about during the break between quarters.
And that's Dublin, not only their great play so far tonight, their good defense, but the clock's one of their allies here.
There's Brian Range. Only a 27% free throw shooter coming into the game tonight, but he's done very well from the line.
Downtown Greg Brown checks back in, and 22 will take a seat. That's Jason Thomas.
7 points for Brian Range. Make it 8. So Range has been all but perfect from the free throw line tonight.
And 50. Good pressure D by the Lions.
21-point lead for Dublin. With the ball is Taylor. To Zaranak. Rossler.
Now they're spreading out and moving the ball around the perimeter.
Absolutely. Just about to say that, as a matter of fact. But with it is Zoe Barney.
Don't great minds think alike, PC.
How about that? Taylor, closely guarded and too long, and it's going to belong to Bexley.
Got to make that move with the football. I was going to say with the basketball. We're still in football brain here.
Well, you can only hold on to it for 4 seconds. The rules say 5, but if you aren't starting to get rid of it by that 4 count, they're going to whistle you.
And that's what happened that time.
You got it. 30 seconds to go, third quarter. Bexley now trying to close to within 18.
Grant wisely gave up the ball to Rogers that time down left.
20 seconds. Rogers in now for Fry. Bouncing it off for Noah Jones, and that is a two-pointer. A two-pointer for Noah Jones. 54-36. 9 seconds to go. To Zaranak between the legs. Double team now. Barney to the baseline, turning around against Fry a little bit too hard, and the buzzer goes to end the third quarter.
Oh, Joe Fry playing great defense there as he cut off the driving baseline.
After 24 minutes of basketball, the score is Dublin 54, Bexley 36. We'll be back with quarter number 4 right after this. Set now to move into the fourth quarter. As a matter of fact, we're in action now, 54-36, an 18-point lead for Dublin over Bexley. We said that if Bexley during the third quarter could cut the lead to 6, they could be in the basketball game. Instead, they gave up 6 more points.
Great move to the hoop by Adam Brandt. Like we mentioned, if he can't do it outside, he'll do it inside. It's a turnover. The Lions get the ball back. You got to come out firing. This is the fourth and final period, and I know the Lions know that.
So we can expect a frantic effort from the Lions here in the fourth quarter. Inbounds pass to Fry, almost batted away from Fry. Back outside now. The three-point attempt is no good. And the rebound, McCutcheon.
Oh, McCutcheon had the Windex as he cleaned the glass off that time. Good rebound by Big Jeff.
That was Jones with that three-point attempt. And a foul on the play. As Rossler had the basketball, Jones was hawking him, and Jones reached in.
Noah should pick up his first that time. Paul, you talk about pressure defense. Turnovers in the third quarter. Bexley 16, Dublin 13, so both teams are pressuring them. But Dublin still in the lead.
And Dublin out rebounding Bexley 23-14, so there is really a couple of very important stats on the game. 7:24 to go. And now for McCutcheon, back out for Brown. There's that three-point master. No good off the front of the rim. Rebound. Blocked. Out of bounds.
Joel Fry, the Sultan of SWAT that time. Joel's taking matters into his own hands. Great job of defense.
Dublin led after the first quarter, 23-12. watch that replay.
Oh, Fry just shoots straight up in the air and gets a big paw out there.
And the inbounds pass was poked away from Ryan Rossler right away. It'll still belong to Bexley, or to Dublin, rather.
Bexley's playing as if there is no tomorrow, and there isn't right now. They're in the fourth period.
McCutcheon, all the time in the world to shoot, no good, but rebound, Mayer up and in. How about that board work by Mayer, who went up amongst 3 blue shirts to come down with a rebound. 56-38, and the foul again, the backcourt foul by Ryan Rossler, so Bexley will go to the line with his clock stopped.
And Coach Topp not happy with that one bit. In fact, he calls Ryan Rossler over to give him some information. But the Shamrocks are sticking with that basketball. They're not quitting, and it's very important in this game. 25 going to the line is Noah Jones, a 5'11 junior. 50% free throw shooter on the season.
Not having a very good shooting night. He is 1 of 8 from field goal range. First trip to the line, he's got 2 points. And he's still got 2 points as Jeff McCutcheon cleans the boards. Under 7 minutes to play now. McCutcheon down against range. Pretty good ball handler for big man, Jeff McCutcheon.
Oh, he passes the ball nicely, too. So does Jezernak.
Now for Brown. Rossler tried to bounce it in for McCutcheon, and it was knocked away from McCutcheon. Bexley coming the other way. Range all the way. Lays it up and in. Ryan Range, pressure now for Bexley.
And the lead's cut to 16, 56 for Dublin, 40 for the Lions.
Oh, they had Rossler tied up in the corner. He got away and was fouled by Range. Good ball handling by Ryan Rossler.
Oh, Ryan did a great job of coming out of there with that basketball. He was tied up, and he did push it out. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Noah Jones will pick up that one. That'll be his second.
Range has 10 points in the night.
Now, this is something I like to see. Ron Jezernak, all the coaches like to have a player on the court who's like another coach. And there's Range going right to the hoop. Good, strong move, putting his body between the ball and the defender. But Ron Jezernak just shouted some instructions to his fellow teammates out there. And coaches like that, Paul. They like a kid who can take charge out there on the field. Or on the court in this case.
Rossler at the line. Makes that first one. For that shot, the lead was 16. So Bexley was chipping away at it. Second one also good. 6.5 minutes to go. Down quickly Brandt. Brandt pulls up for a 2-point attempt. No good. Rebound batted around, and McCutcheon comes down with it. Outlet to Brown. Brown to Rossler, but batted away by Fry, and it goes off the hands of Rossler and out of bounds. But Fry got back there to bat away a pass. It would have been a sure layup.
Joel Fry doing a great job for the Lions, but he needs help from the other 4 guys out there on the court, and they're starting to pitch in.
Time very much a factor now. Bexley is in a position where it's going to have to score almost every time down the floor. Dublin, on the other hand, will just really can sit back and try to keep Bexley from doing something it has not done all night, and that's score 18 points in a quarter.
That was indicative of the Lions' night. Range, a great move to the hoop, and they're just not dropping through.
Not dropping, you got it. Range has 10 points, by the way. Drop aside, it's McCutcheon. Make it 60-40, a 20-point lead again. McCutcheon having an excellent night. 5.5 minutes to go. In addition to his points, McCutcheon has 7 rebounds in the night. Range straddling that 3-point line, so he's 19 feet away from the basket.
They need to get some movement out there, and the Lions are just pointing to each other. They should be moving around that perimeter, breaking towards the hoop.
Lays it off for Fry, now to Brandt. Brandt back for Rogers, banks it up and in.
Rogers. Great pass by Brandt, good body control by Seth Rogers that time.
And Rogers having a good night. Brown, that's 16 points tonight for McCutcheon, by the way. And McCutcheon shooting again.
Good strong rebound by Joel Fry. Jumping Joel up there on the boards.
Under 5 minutes to play now. Tapped away by McCutcheon and picked up by Jezernak. He is fouled by Rogers.
Oh, I'll tell you, Brian Range has to remember one thing. There's only one Dr. J, and he's retired, baby. When you're down by 18 points, you've got to look where you're passing the basketball. Oh, Range threw it right to McCutcheon that time. And Rogers trying to get the ball back. You would call it a little bit of effort by Seth Rogers that time.
And it'll put Jezernak on the line. to shoot the 1-and-1. Both teams in the bonus situation now.
BC, I'm also keeping my eyes out because we got to start selections for that all-munch team, and it starts right with this game.
That's right. See any good candidates in the...
I've got a couple already.
Maybe one at the line right there. Jezeranek, though, misses the free throw. Rossler up with a rebound and was fouled from the top by Joel Fry.
It's rather interesting. Joel Fry picks up only his second foul, and the way he's been playing ball tonight shows what kind of great control he plays under. Timeout, 60-42. The Shamrocks in the lead, 4:43 left in the game.
And we'll be back after this. To 42, Dublin on top over Bexley by 18 points, and the lead for most of the ball game actually has been up in that double-digit range for Dublin. Bexley led at 1 point by 2 points, but that's only because the Lions were able to score the first bucket of the basketball game, but it's been all Dublin ever since. Dublin also won the JV game by a score of 49-35. At the line is going to be Ryan Rossler. And he'll shoot 2.
And he shot 100% going into this game. I know he canned his last 3, so he's right there.
Nice touch from the line. Off the front of the rim, no good. Seth Rogers with a rebound. Rogers going to race all the way to Jeff, and he's blocked by Greg Brown. Brown goes down. Brown thought he had position, but no.
Now, these Dublin fans are hungry, the players are hungry, and it's interesting, even in football. Bexley has always been near the top of the CBL. They've been the cream of the crop, and Paul, when you're number one, the gunslingers don't go for the guys down the line because they're in the grave. They want to go for the sheriff, and that's what's happening here in all the leagues around the city.
These two teams expected to finish 1-2 now. And at the line is Seth Rogers from the free throw line tonight. He's 2 of 2. He's 6 of 13 from the floor, 1 of 1 from three-point range. A total of 17 points, make it 18. 3 of 3 from the line. Rogers averaging 11 points a game coming into the game. He's had an excellent night, but Bexley's top scorer, Adam Brad, has just not been able to get untracked tonight. That's really hurt the Lions. He made them both. And Dublin now just going to pull it out and try to run a few seconds off of that clock. Work for the good shot. Both teams have stayed in the man-to-man throughout pretty much the entire game. Shot by McCutcheon was no good. Brandt rebound up for Range. Range going in, banks it up and in.
He's going to get a three-pointer out of that one. Jezeranek just didn't get down in time to get those feet planted. It's like putting that Christmas tree and that planter in the front window there, PC. You got to get them both down, and it just didn't happen that time.
How did you know? That's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow.
You know, I've got the lights coming up, and for all the W08BV high school football, basketball fans, there goes football again. Maybe the human Christmas tree will make his appearance again as we get nearer the sacred day.
I am going to be very anxious to see whether that happens. We don't know yet. Range is at the line. He has 12 points in the night. 4 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the basketball game. Bexley desperately trying to claw its way back into the game.
Bexley needs all the free throws they can get. They're not going to cut the lead that way.
Well, an air ball on the free throw by Range. Range's been very good from the line tonight. He was shooting only 27% from the line coming into the ball game. Now Rossler with the basketball. Range hawking in from behind.
Jezeranek looking for the open man.
And a foul.
Could be Danny Hinton, who just checked into the game.
Hinton wearing number 11.
And he checks right back out. Yes, it was on Danny Hinton.
And going to the line will be Jezeranek. Jezeranek, 12 points in the night. 4 of 6 from the line. And make that 5 of 7. Making the score 62-47, a 15-point lead. 16-point lead, 63-47. Under 4 minutes to play now. The home-standing Dublin Shamrocks standing to go to 4-0 on the season. There's a steal.
They're always looking for that basketball.
Again, it was McCutcheon getting a hand in. He's had an excellent night defensively and offensively. Greg Brown loves that three-point shot, but passed it up that time to shoot it back outside for McCutcheon. Jezeranak. Mayer bouncing it right back outside. Now inside for Jezeranak. The up fake. And the second shot, no good.
Alex Rudolph looked great that time on D.
Did. And there's Adam Brandt at the lay-in.
What a job Adam Brandt has done transition tonight. Good job by Adam.
63-49. Rossler, his shot is blocked. Fry, the outlet pass. Brandt should have an easy two. He does.
Oh, this is making it interesting. Down to 12 points.
Down to 12 points with 3:02 left. And timeout on the floor called by Dublin.
You're going to see some good basketball. Fry has just blocked a shot. Adam Brandt doing what a good player does. Go right to the glass. Keep your body between the ball and the defender. Bingo, 63-51. Joel Fry made it happen once again. Jumping Jay out there with the block.
And the Shamrocks have just taken their first time out of the evening. There's the Bexley bench. Let's see if we can listen in. Coach Pat Beveridge talking to his troops.
He was pointing down the end of the bench to Adam Brandt. Maybe now's the time. They're down by 12 points. You're going to say that's 6 buckets or 4 3-pointers. Adam has not exploded yet from the outside. He can't take a shot at too many missed shots out there. But heck, why don't you launch one? Because he does do a good job from 3-point range.
He sure does. 67% shooter from there. Seth Rogers, a 50% shooter from 3-point range. Noah Jones, a 50% shooter from 3-point range. So they've got the guys who can do it. It's time once again to thank the folks who feed the TV8 crew. And this week it's the Bogey Inn at 6013 Glick Road, overlooking the O'Shaughnessy Dam in Powell, Ohio. The Bogey Inn is the perfect place to go after a visit to the zoo or after a game of golf at Muirfield. The Bogey has a great assortment of dinners and snacks, and that is the Bogey Inn at 6013 Glick Road, overlooking the O'Shaughnessy Dam in Dublin. Oh, we said Powell. It's really Dublin, right? Yeah. But the Bogey Inn, we love to go out there for that beer, batter, fish, don't we, Mike?
It's delightful.
Oh.
And Paul, I'd also like to congratulate some of the young men that we got to cover in high school football that made first team in the area. We've got Paul Nickel, the tight end from Westerville North, Marcus Gaines, the tackle from Whetstone, Switzer, the tackle from Arlington, Jones, a guard from Groveport, Graver, a center from Worthington, amongst others. We had some great ball players like I'm sure we're going to have in basketball season.
Dublin with the basketball now. Rossler with it. And some backcourt pressure now by the Bexley Lions. Under 3 minutes to play.
2-2-1 press out there by the Lions, and Fry's got it!
Stolen away by Fry.
He's turning it around.
So another turnover now, or another takeaway that is, and there's a takeaway by Brown. Brown, 2-on-1 break to Mayer. He lays it up a little bit too soft. Now the Lions coming the other way. Range in the lane, ranks it up and in.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that makes up for Brian throwing the ball away last time. It's a 10-point lead. The Lions fans are coming to life out there. I can hear them growling.
63-53, 2.5 minutes to go. McCutcheon down with it. To Mayer. Bounces it in for Jezeranak to turn around. Got it! Oh, a clutch shot.
And Alex Rudolph played superb defense that time. That was just great effort by Ron Jezeranak, a 6'4 senior. One of the captains, tri-captains out there, Brown, Jezeranak, and McCutcheon.
12-point lead now for Dublin. Down to the 2-minute mark. There's a long-range shot by Brown. He got it. That's a two-pointer. Two-pointer, 65-55. Again, a 10-point lead.
Under 2 minutes, 1:50 left in the game. Great pressure by the Lions.
Zone press. Oh, and McCutcheon is tripped up by Seth Rogers.
It's going to be 5 on Seth.
Of course, the foul was not intentional, but that's going to be enough to disqualify Seth Rogers. So with 1 minute 45 seconds to go in the ball game, Dublin a 10-point lead. We'll be back after this. score. And you're also looking at Coach Ron Dopp of Dublin. And McCutcheon at the line. Makes the front end of a 1-and-1.
Oh, we saw one of the Dublin security people there on their walkie-talkie. I think they're calling the bogey for a pizza.
Well, we had the bogey pizza before the game. We're going to talk George into taking this out for more after the game.
Bexley, Fry once again. Oh, Joel Fry can take charge.
There's range from three-point range. No good. And Rossler with a rebound. 1.5 minutes to go. Rossler, look at him work it up court against 3 men. And he is fouled from the side. So Rossler will go to the line to shoot 1-and-1.
I believe Range got him that time. If that's the case, that's going to be 4 on Mr. Range. No, Adam Brandt's going to be in charge of the foul.
And Range will check out. Checking back in is Danny Hinton. Hinton at 6'2".
He's a senior. He scores 6.6 a game.
At the line is Rossler, 7 of 10 from the free throw line tonight. He's got 11 total points. He missed that one, however.
Well, the Lions have to come down and score, plain and simple. They have to score every time they have the ball.
Adam Brandt in the lane with a jumper. Got it.
Oh, he's sweet.
Brandt's getting hot, showing that nice shooting touch he's had all year. Maybe a little bit too little, too late for Bexley, but they've cut the lead back to 9.
And they're going after the ball.
Oh, and there's a steal, a near steal, but a foul from behind by Hinton.
PC, I thought Danny Hinton got that one cleanly that time, but we're up here in the crow's nest. Let's look at Danny Hinton playing defense. Now look at Brandt.
Look, little bit of a bump.
Clean.
Little bit of a bump.
I think it was a body bump that time. Yeah, it wasn't so much with his hands.
It was enough of a bump, too, to knock Mayer just a little bit off of his
We're going to look at it one more time. Let's check this out here. Now, look at Hinton. There's Brandt with the pressure.
You see, he got knocked off balance. And Mayer goes to the line and misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Fry the rebound.
Fry, another carom out there.
And Fry has had a super night for Bexley. Brandt, Hinton, three-pointer, no good, air ball. And Zazera, in fact, that McCutcheon came down with it and stepped on the end line, so the ball remains in Bexley hands.
And the Dublin student section has another air ball chant to add to their repertoire.
Hinton to be the inbounds man. Underneath his own basket. Got it for Fry. Fry up with the right hand, a little bit too hard. And on the rebound, Hinton fouled from behind.
Danny Hinton just blasted McCutcheon that time. And the Rocks are walking the other way. 66-57, 58 seconds left in the game.
And that's the 4th personal foul on Hinton with 58 seconds to go in the ball game. There's your score, a 9-point lead. And at the line, having an excellent night, is McCutcheon. 17 points overall, 8 of 15 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Make that 2 of 3.
He tossed a rainbow down that time, and there's a pot of gold at the end of that one for Mr. McCutcheon. Even better, there's a basket.
Absolutely. 58 seconds to go. That gives Dublin the 10-point lead once again. Missed the second. Fry rebounds. Time running out for Bexley now. Adam Brandt, the three-pointer, no good. Fighting for the rebound. It goes off the foot of Brown. Brown saves to McCutcheon. McCutcheon all the way is pushed from behind by Fry and cannot get the shot off.
You know, Joel Fry knew exactly what he did that time. They're down by 10. It looks like Dublin's going to pull this one out, and the last thing he wanted to have happen to him is have McCutcheon come down and slam one down with one of those power dunks.
Well, you know, the only reason that was not an intentional foul call was because he got so much of the ball. So it really was a pretty good defensive play by Joel Fry.
Well, he's done it all night.
There's your score. We'll be back after this. Cox and Mark Munch Bishop, also Jim Day back at Dublin High School. The home team, the Dublin Shamrocks, trying to go 4-0 on the season. Bexley, it looks like the Lions are going to fall to 3-1. Both teams have gotten off to superb starts this year. Both have rolled up a lot of points. Bexley has really had a very hard time getting on track offensively tonight.
You're going to see Mr. McCutcheon step to the line there, number 50. And where are the rest of the Shamrocks from Dublin? Now, they're in the Bexley half of the court in case Bexley does get the ball and breaks down.
And McCutcheon misses the free throw. Fry with yet another rebound.
There are the Shamrocks.
40 seconds to go. Three-point attempt by Brandt. No good. Rebound Mayer. And Mayer almost falls down. Fires it up there for McCutcheon. And McCutcheon very wisely just pulls it back up. And Rossler tied up by Fry, and a little bit too tight on the defense by Fry, so he's called for the foul.
Joel doing the only thing he can do at this stage of the game, PC. They've got to get the ball back, and the Lions have to try to do it, and if they pick up a foul in the case, well, that's one thing they do not want to do, but it happened that time.
That's number 3 on Fry. At the line will go Rossler, and Rossler has 11 points. He's got most of those from the free throw line, 7 of 11. And again, for the second straight time, misses the front end of a 1-and-1. And losing the ball.
Whoa!
Is Noah Jones, and Jones and Rob Mayer go tumbling into the door at the end of the court.
Paul, there's no padding down there whatsoever, and I just hope that Rob Mayer is okay. He hit that post there just to the left of the door. In fact, it's a brick facade, and he came down on that pretty hard.
No, we don't do that here.
A lot of pain down there for Rob Mayer. He and Noah Jones were just going for the basketball.
Nothing about that whatsoever. Noah Jones just trying to get the ball, because we pointed out that's the only thing the Lions can do as the Dublin coaching staff takes over here tonight.
And when Rob Mayer gets up, he will go to the free throw line. He's had 3 points tonight. 1 of 3 from the free throw line. He's got 1 of 4 from the field. However, they may have to designate a substitute to shoot the free throws for Mr. Mayer. As we said, he's been an impact player. He comes off the bench, a fine sixth man, has been averaging 10 points a game for Dublin off the bench. And he is still down over there. I have not seen any movement out of him much, and he may have perhaps been knocked unconscious for a brief time.
Well, he hit that area head first, and there was nothing there to cushion him. Once again, there's a trainer running off perhaps to get some more first aid equipment, and the only thing right now is you just hope that he's okay. That's the bottom line, and I know that's a concern of the Bexley players too right now, because the name of this game is sportsmanship. The Lions may be down by 10. On the other hand, the Shamrocks might be up by 10, but of course, never is there an intention in any player's mind to hurt another player.
There you see the young man being attended to by the first aid people. Well, we want to tell you that next week we've got another fine matchup. We're going to move next week into the Ohio Capital Conference to pick up Gehenna at Upper Arlington. Gehenna, one of the preseason favorites in that league. And, of course, they've got Matt Kramer. They've got a 6'7" student, a foreign exchange student from Yugoslavia who's going to play basketball for Gehenna this year. And he's a good one. So they've got a lot of height along the front line, does Gehenna.
It's gotten to the point that basketball is just not germane to the United States of America anymore. There's some very, very big stars internationally with Yugoslavia. Let's have a big hand for Mr. Rob Mayer as he makes it up there.
I don't believe he's going to continue, and he is going to be helped off the court. Unless I badly missed my guess much, I think he was probably knocked cold by the impact of that wall.
He's going to have a headache tomorrow. Even the Bexley fans are giving him a stand. You know, that's what we like to see.
And so a substitution now for Dublin. No, there was no foul on the play. No foul on the play.
They were going for that loose ball,
Just
PC.
going for the loose ball. He and Noah Jones. So 17 seconds to go. Bexley with the basketball. And the turnaround. Nice bank shot by Alex Rudolph. 10 seconds to go. 67-59. An 8-point lead for Dublin. Now Rossler just trying to dribble out the clock. And that is the end of the basketball game. Dublin has gone to 4-0. Bexley falls to 3-1. The final score was Dublin Shamrocks 67. The Bexley Lions 59. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Pocket Coach is the handheld portable computer that keeps the stats that can make the difference. Pocket Coach keeps 17 critical stats that can all be retrieved during the length of a timeout, and it's easier to use than any other method available. With Pocket Coach, you can increase your accuracy and make the decisions that win games. For details, call 1-800-444-7215 or call TB8.
Paul Cox, Mark Munch Bishop back at the gym at Dublin High School, where the Dublin Shamrocks tonight very impressive 67-59 victors over Bexley, and really the game was not nearly as close as the score made it indicate. We want to go down to the court right now where Jim Day is almost ready to interview the winning coach, Ron Dopp. Munch, a couple of final thoughts.
Paul, I want to point something out, too. We had just got the word here in the post-game report that Rob Mayer, the young man who did slide going for that loose ball with Noah Jones, is okay. And that's good to see because he took a tough spill down there.
Tough spill, hit his head on the wall, apparently at the end of the court, and looked like he knocked himself out, but it's good to know that he's okay. Now we can go down to courtside. Jim Day is with Ron Dopp.
Coach Dopp, winning round one against Bexley, you got to be real happy. You said that the team that took away defensively from the other team was going to win the ball game, and you certainly did that tonight.
Yeah, I thought the first three quarters we did a lot of things well defensively and offensively, and then we made some mistakes and missed some easy shots, and they made some, and they got back in it, but the kids played hard.
Adam Brandt coming in for Bexley was the leading scorer. He was averaging almost 21 points a game. He had 12. He finished with 12. Most of those came late. Did you do anything special to shut him down defensively?
Well, no. We had different kids on him. Jeff McCutcheon guarded him the majority of the game. Greg Brown guarded him. Rob Mayer guarded him. We had a number of different kids guard him. But, Adam's a great shooter and a very good player. He had 31 and 21 against us last year, so we know him pretty well. But, we just worked hard as a team to help on him and, not let anybody else get real hot.
With the exception of Joel Fry, you take away him on the boards, and you really dominated Bexley on the rebound. You got to be happy with the way your guys hit the boards tonight.
Well, we felt coming in that with Jezernak and McCutcheon inside that was to our advantage. They had to try to match that, and I think that really paid off for us at the end of the game.
One of the good signs of a good basketball team is to have a balanced attack. You got 5 guys in double figures. It really has to make you guys one of the top teams in the area.
Well, we hope so, but, there's a lot of games to play yet. And we have 5 kids averaging double figures after 4 games. And that's important to us because we don't know who's on. And, if they take 1 or 2 away, then we got other people who can score.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Coach, on your stat sheet, you have an effort stat. Now, could you explain a little bit about that?
Well, that's just a combination of a lot of things defensively, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, assists versus turnovers. It's just a combination of things.
Okay, Coach, finally, real quick, you got the first win over Bexley. Now you're going to roll into the CBL competition. Your feelings on the rest of the season?
Well, we got West Jeff tomorrow, and that's why I told the kids, we'll enjoy this tonight, and we'll meet them in the morning and go over them.
Okay, Coach, just a great game. Real exciting. We're glad to be out here at Dublin, and lots of luck the rest of the season, and congratulations tonight. Coach Dopp, a happy guy. Let's send it back upstairs to wrap it up.
Well, a happy guy who manages to conceal it well, but I imagine he's putting this victory into perspective. It's a long season yet.
Well, heck, Paul, it's still a big victory. We put it out all game. Bexley and Dublin, 2 of the teams that would fight it out for the top spot here in the CBL, and Dublin has to be glad the Shamrocks coming away with it. We'll look at some final stats now for the Bexley Lions. 23 of 49 from the field for 47%. Dublin, on the other hand, 20 of 46 for 43%. 3-point field goals, 1 for 11 for Bexley. And that's not indicative of the way they usually shoot. In field goals, 3-pointers for Dublin, 3 for 8. They shot 38% on that. What is that? 9% for the Bexley Lions. Looking at their free throws, 10 for 14 for 71%. Dublin 18 to 31 for 58%. Coming down to those rebounds, 25, and I think Joel Fry had the lion's share of those. Dublin on the other hand with 31. Turnovers, 18 for Bexley, 19 for Dublin. But the scoreboard doesn't lie, Paul Cox, and it shows Dublin ahead. Final score, 67-59.
As a matter of fact, Joel Fry had 13 of those 25 rebounds for Bexley. There's your leading scorer, Seth Rogers, for Bexley. Jeff McCutcheon, 18 points for Dublin. Jim Day has managed to rush back up to our broadcast location now. We want to take a look at some individual statistics.
Well, we wanted to take a look at the offensive efficiency. It's a new stat here for TV8. We didn't get to look at it at halftime, but what it basically is you take the total points, divide it by your attempts, plus your opponent's your opponent's fouls and your turnovers. And what it basically says is how many times, for the times that you have the ball, how many times you score for each possession. So it really does tell the tale of a ball game. It's is developed by Coach Smith, Dean Smith at North Carolina, and everyone knows that Dean Smith knows what he's talking about. For Bexley, is a .6 average. Now, what they say is a .8 or a .9 stat on this is really good. Dublin was up around .85 at halftime. That dropped off in the second half because of some of Bexley's pressure. But basically, I think the ball game was won at the foul line. Dublin had a lot more attempts at the foul line, and I think the ball game could have been a lot worse score-wise if Dublin had converted the foul shots in the second half. They were only 18 to 31 for the game. If they could have been up around 70-80%, it could have been a much bigger gap in the scoring right there. Also, a percentage loss per possession. This is each time you have the ball, the percent of how many times you lose the ball, you turn it over, or lose a scoring attempt. For Bexley, 27.6, and Dublin, 26.6. So those were pretty close. But really, the tail of the game was Dublin hitting the boards, and they just really wanted this game a lot more than Bexley, it seemed like. But it's round one. Bexley has another chance later on in the season. That will be at Bexley, and the CBL should be pretty exciting. These teams were picked 1-2, so don't count Bexley out.
You know, Jim and Paul, it's interesting because you flash back to the Maui Classic at Ohio State, and that's what did them in Oklahoma, like Dublin tonight getting second, third, fourth shots at the boards, and you just can't stop a team when that happens.
Well, thank you for a very difficult job of explaining that point per possession and the points, the percentage of loss per possession. Jim Day will be back next week to explain Einstein's general theory of relativity for you during the halftime.
Well, the coaches really do like it. I was talking to Coach Dopp this week, and he really likes the stat. He keeps the stat, and he actually talks with his players about it, and it's really the future of basketball. It tells the tale. You may not, understand it at home, but it really does tell the tale how the game is going.
Okay, very good. Jim Day, Mark Munch Bishop, thank you for being with us tonight. There's your final score. Dublin 67, Bexley 59. Next week, we'll be at Upper Arlington for Gehenna at Upper Arlington. I'm Paul Cox for the entire TV8 crew. Thanks for joining us.